Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Azzahra and I am from Bandung Institute of Technology, Faculty School of Business and Management. In this opportunity, I will show you my thesis, which entitled Factors Influencing Indonesian Hesitancy in Entrusting Their Financial Affairs to Bank Syariah Indonesia, or so-called BSI. So, in 1992, the first Sharia bank was established as called Bank Muamalat Syariah. And now in 2022, Bank Syariah Indonesia or Islamic Bank Indonesia is established from the merge of three government owned banks called Bank Syariah Mandiri, Bank Syariah BNI, Bank Syariah BRI. And the goal of these Islamic banks in Indonesia was to promote the implementation of national development in order to increase people's justice, unity, and equal welfare. And this merge uh, becomes Bank Syariah Indonesia, created the largest Sharia bank or Islamic bank in Asia. And as Indonesia has a 237.5 million Muslim population, it is the largest country in the world who has this much Muslim as their citizen. And data from Financial Services Authority as of December 22 shows that Indonesia's total Islamic financial assets reached 2 trillion, 2,000 trillion, with market share of 10.69%. And as a result, Indonesian citizens, particularly the Muslims, can use financial institutions with functions that adhere to their religious regulations. But however, the problem arose when the Indonesian National Syariah Bank had approximately only 18 million users compared to Central Asia Bank or BCA, which had 34 million Indonesian users. And therefore, the research problem for this research is that although after 31 years of operation in Indonesia, Islamic banks have grown significantly in comparison to conventional banks, especially with the merger that the past 2 years have been going on, and it may be seen from the market of Islamic banks in 2022 is 6.6%, and as of the end of 22, market share grew to 10.7. Still, it means that most of citizens still use conventional banks rather than Islamic banks. And the main issues leading to this disparity include the lack of literacy and comprehension of Islamic banks among the community, limited accessibility of Islamic banks compared to the conventional banks, and perceived of inferiority of Islamic bank products. So the problem statement revolves around the underperformance and low market share of Islamic banks in Indonesia compared to conventional banks despite the country's significant Muslim population. Therefore, in this research, I wanted to know more about these two research questions that I made, which is what is the impact of the merger of three Islamic banks in Indonesia on trust of their users on and potential users, and what factors contribute to Indonesian entrust to their financial affairs to Bank Syariah Indonesia. And for this research, I have an objective, which is research analyzes merger of Indonesia's three Islamic banks, impact on the interest and user trust, and factors contributing to Bank in Syariah Indonesia's growth and development in the country. And the scope and limitation for this research is the study is held from February until July 2023, and the subject is Indonesian citizen of working age with active banking or financial accounts. And as you can see here, there's a conceptual framework for this research, which has three independent variables, which first is merger, second is brand awareness, the third one is understanding of Islamic law, and the dependent variable is user interest. And as you can see here, I made four hypotheses, which I can explain more in the next slide. The first is merger has a significant positive effect on brand awareness, which from the previous research I cited here, I conclude that post-merger integration significantly then performance affecting brand awareness and recognition. And the second hypothesis is merger has a significant positive effect on user interest, which also I cited, and I concluded that the merger of three state-owned banks to form BSE has increased interest in Islamic saving programs and public awareness of their benefits. And the third one is brand awareness has a significant positive effect on user interest. I also cited here and conclude that brand awareness positively impacts interest in purchasing products at Bank Syariah Mandiri Malang area. And the fourth one is understanding of Islamic law has a significant positive effect on user interest. Also, I conclude that community knowledge and Islamic values influence saving product decisions, with understanding and motivation being significant factors. And the methodology that I use for this research is, as you can see in the left side of the screen, I make a research flowchart, and but to be exact is I use quantitative method as an approach, and the population of this research is Indonesian citizen who's in productive age or working age, which is 229 million according to OJK. 76.2 of the adult population had bank accounts in Indonesia. So from all of that population, the sample size that I use is 136 people. And the sampling technique is purposive sampling technique because there are two criteria to um, be in this research, which is you have to be in productive age and has to have a bank or financial accounts. And the data collection is primary data through online questionnaire, which is Google form, and secondary data is in form of a literature review. And for data analysis, we can see on the next slide. So from the demography analysis, you can see I use for demography, but the first one is age. Most of my respondent is 18 until 24 years old, and the gender mostly female with 90 people. And the third one is occupation, and almost half of them is students. And lastly, the religion in this research respondent is mostly Muslim. However, I did not only put Muslim here. I welcome any religion to answer my research questions because um, nowadays um, non-Muslims also are interested and starting to use Islamic products such as halal products and Islamic bank. And after that, I want to tell you about the data quality control of this research that I have calculated. To conclude, first, the validity test. All the variable are or the all items are valid because they have an R count of more than 0.1684. And for the reliability test, the results show a value of corn branch alpha is greater than 0.6. Therefore, it can be concluded that it is able to obtain consistent and reliable data. And the next one is classic assumption check test. From the result, the first one is the normality test. As you can see in the graph here, it shows that a diagonal line indicating a normal distribution, fulfilling assumption of normality. And the second one is multicollinearity test, and from the calculation, the tolerance value is above 0.10 and the VIF below 10, indicating there's no multicollinearity, making it unfeasible for testing. And the third one is heteroscedasticity test. As you can see here, the scatter plot shows no pattern in data, which fulfilling the assumption. And the last one is linearity test. Well, the probability value is 0.002, which is less than 0.05. Then the relationship between variable x and y is linear, and therefore it is fulfilled. So from the multiple linear regression analysis, there are four things that I want to show, which is the first one is the correlation, which is a 0.620. Our coefficient show a strong positive relationship between X and Y variables, indicating increased user interest. And the second one is the R square, the user interest variability 38.4 explained by the independent variables and the rest of it by unaccounted factors. And the significance of the model, the value of 27.5 with a significance level of 0.000 indicates that statistical significance indicating a valid relationship between the predictor and the response variable, allowing for prediction. And lastly, influence of predictor variables. Significance in significance influence of merger, brand awareness, and understanding of Islamic law on user interest. And lastly, from the data analysis, the hypothesis testing, I use t-test for this. So the result is the first hypothesis is not rejected with a p-value of 0.000. Also, the second hypothesis is not rejected with p-value of 0.000. However, on the third hypothesis, which is brand awareness has a significant positive effect on user interest, is rejected with a p-value of 0.890. This may happen due to many things, and such as its sample is used that I use is different from previous research. So the hypothesis may be the reason of the the hypothesis may be the reason of rejected research because it has a different focus also. So brand awareness does not directly affect purchase intention, unlike the previous research. However, there are also previous research that show the same testing result. And lastly, for the fourth hypothesis, it is not rejected with p-value of 0.000. So to conclude all, the merger of the three Islamic banks in Indonesia has led to increased awareness and trust in Islamic bank services as BSE provides a range of Syariah compliant financial products and services approved by the National Sharia Council. And merger of the Islamic bank and understanding of Islamic law, leading to increased interest in the Islamic bank services provided by BSE. However, the research finding did not support a significant positive effect of brand awareness on user interest, suggesting while brand awareness plays a role in attracting customers to Islamic banking, it is not the sole factor influencing their decision-making process. And for the recommendation for the future study, uh, I recommend to conduct a larger survey with diverse samples and focus groups and incorporate interviews and conduct studies compared to the financial performance and also the government policies. And for the government and the bank itself, I think that they should focus on enhancing the quality of service and manpower through the merger. And the religious motive influence customer decision to switch to Sharia bank, therefore strengthen Islamic identity and values. And lastly, to attract customer based on conventional motives, a bank should focus on improving overall bank qualities, expanding product offerings, and enhancing customer service. I think that's all from my thesis. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for your understanding and your attention. I am Azzahra. Thank you.